In this next video I'd like to look at the section D and B sections. These being the areas of the report at the very beginning that you'll see here. So you've got some general details about the property, weather conditions, the situation when you inspected, and then you've got some more general details about the property itself under section D, like the accommodation and also the energy ratings. If I go into section D, you'll see that we have all the relevant phrases here, and this is the first time within the app that you'll start to see its more general formatting, whereby you have phrases that you can insert. And if we look at related party disclosure, for example, we've got the most common example here for no conflict of interest. If I click on this box here, or rather the tick, I'll get further options for if there's a potential conflict of interest, and likewise for surveyor relationship. And from any of these options I can select the relevant paragraph. I think for most people it's literally always going to be this one. Once you've selected your phrase, select commit, and it will drop down there, and that will be the phrase that goes into the relevant box on the home buy report. Similar situation with the weather, property status, so you can indicate the property was occupied, but what you will note that is currently missing is the ability to say who was present for the survey. What I've done myself, I've used the ABC button here, which allows me to add my own phrases, and added my own phrases to deal with whether the vendor was present or whether I had keys from the selling agent. If you want to add your own phrase, you simply click the plus button, type the phrase you want, click done. The phrase will become available here, and if you click this button it will drop in. Alternatively, if you click the pencil button, you'll get the opportunity to amend it first, and when you click done, the phrase that's amended will drop into the report. Something I covered in my last video was respect to about the property. This is the section which goes in this box here. So everything on that about the property page will go into this one text box. And you can see we've got quite a lot of information here. With tenure, it isn't necessarily essential that you even bother to put that in that text box, and likewise year built, because as I covered earlier, if you fill out year built in this section about the property, then the relevant text box will populate, and doing it again here will simply repeat the information regarding when the property was built within the about the property text box. What is worth doing though is using the extension one, because if you say there is an extension here and make reference to when it was built, then you will get a relevant section I phrase generated with respect to the planning consent for that extension. Also, you can see we've got things about social housing, and likewise that's probably worthwhile including loft spaces as well and conversions. The accommodation here, this grid is very simple to operate. You simply click on the button the number of times you want. If I've done it too many times, I hold it and it will reset to 0. Even though it shows a 0 here, I am assured by eTech that 0 will not be populated in the report, it will be left blank. So as an example now, we're going to have a two living room, one kitchen on the ground floor with a separate loo, and on the first floor 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. Very straightforward. Construction, equally fairly straightforward. You build up your description of the walls, your roof and your floor. You can do this in 2 ways. You can put the walls are of traditional rendered masonry construction. You can then do your roof and your floor and click commit, and it will generate all 3 of those boxes in one paragraph. Your alternative option is to do each separately. So I deal with the walls and I commit it, and I get the wall phrase there. I then click on roof and commit it, and I get the phrase there. I can do the floor and commit it, and I've got them there. So in these 3 lines I've got exactly the same information I had here, but it's separated, and the benefit of that is if I click reorder, I can now reorder those phrases. So say for instance I wanted to put the floor paragraph first, I can reorder it. So it just gives you an extra bit of flexibility. LEG ratings are fairly straightforward. You don't need to put the letter in, only the number. So if I put 67, when the report comes through, the relevant letter that goes with 67 will drop in there. Services are simple tick boxes, and this other box has got an ABC button to give you some general things about other services you might have, like photovoltaic cells. But if you're not going to use it, you do need to type in the word none, otherwise you're just going to get a blank form back. Under garages and parking, again, you can generate your phrases quite easily, but what you do need to be aware of is that if you want them to be ordered in a certain way, you're best to either do them individually or to reorder them. So for instance, I would want to put the garages and the parking comments together and garden and sheds together, and the ordering they're in at the moment doesn't necessarily reflect that, so I would do my garage one, my parking one, garden and then sheds, and order them accordingly. The location phrases are very simplistic. Some surveyors may well feel they want to be provide more information, and you can do that simply by using the ABC button and adding your own phrases in as they suit you, which is absolutely fine. If you have a private road, there is no provision within the section at the moment to deal with that. It's actually picked up under section H3. Personally, I feel that you should be making a comment under section D, and in those cases you'll need to use the ABC button. The facility section is also fairly basic. I mean, if I show you the paragraphs for schools, we're not going to go into a great level of detail here for the client, and again, if you want to be more specific you can, but obviously it's probably better to keep it simple and work within the phrases that are here. Local environment is probably one of the most important sections you'll get. This essentially populating the relevant phrases into where is it? This local environment box here. And you can see we've got no environmental factors, we've got various paragraphs available to do with flooding, radon, contamination, drinkable soils. But what is also in here, which perhaps shouldn't be in this section and should be dealt with in an earlier section, is planning issues. So this will deal with listed and conservation areas and any other issues you might come across. At the moment these phrases are not editable, so if they don't cover a particular issue that you need to cover, you'll need to use the ABC button. Now, when I deal with my flood map and soil type, I like to provide some level of site note of what I've done. If you click on the camera button here, you'll see that I can import a photograph. And if I go to external, camera roll, I'll be able to import photos. So if I quickly scroll back to here, I've got a screenshot, or rather I can take a screenshot of the flood map. If I hold the power button and the home button, these two at the side of the device together at the same time, it'll take a screenshot. I can then go into the application. Sorry, I'm struggling with this. Right, back to the application. And if I click on the camera button and import, and click external and camera roll, you'll see that I've got my picture there. So I can select that and done. And now my screenshot of the flood map will be held as a site note under local environment. And by doing this, I don't need to have any further notes about flooding. I've got a photograph of the flood map which shows there is no flooding in the area, and I can then make a relevant comment here without needing to go any further. There are also applications that allow you to do similar exercises with soil type. I use this iGeology application, and by putting the postcode here I can bring up the soil map for my area, and I can then click on the box and it will bring up the relevant soil type. I'd screenshot that and add it again. I also add my environmental reports ratings in there as well. So you can see, once you get the hang of it, this is fairly straightforward to use. End of video.